What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. I hope that you are having a wonderful morning so far. I know that I'm a few days later than I would have liked with my ROA recap, but there was some Love and Marriage Huntsville tea this week, as we all know. Be sure to check out my video giving my commentary on Queen Sheba's interview with Martell Holt from last night. It is Smoke and Mirrors. That's on the thumbnail, and I named the video Martell's Projections. So let's go ahead and jump right on in to the latest episode of season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're already 4 episodes in. I do ask that you please first hit the like button on this video. I would really appreciate it. It will push this video into YouTube's algorithm, meaning that it will recommend this video to more people who also like to watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta and its recaps. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I do a variety of content, including celebrity gossip and reality TV star interviews. I just interviewed Kiki Jabbar from Love and Marriage Huntsville on Tuesday evening. So be sure to check out that video as well. That was a live, so you would check that under the live tabs here on Show Style and Spirit. All right, so with all of the church announcements out the way, and sidebar, I used to be a church announcer at church. But anyway, so the episode opens up with Monyetta and Kenya. They are rehearsing the routine that Monyetta choreographed for Kenya. As you know, we're going to later see the ladies go to Birmingham, Alabama to see Kenya participate in the Magic City Football Classic, where she will be doing a dance routine with the band. So far, it sounds like it's going to be episode 5 when we get to see shots from the actual football classic. So I'll be looking forward to that. But we saw where they were rehearsing. Once they were done rehearsing, Kenya's man, Roy, actually called. He called Monyetta's phone because they were friends, and Monyetta actually set Kenya up with Roy. And he called in just to see how they were doing. It sounds pretty much like he knew that they would be together at the time that he called. And Kenya did say in her confessional that Roy is good in bed. And you know what? Kenya is at a point in her life where she does not have to please parents or grandparents or church family or anyone. She can say that she's been married, she's a mom, she's even educated, she's accomplished major things. She'll be in the history books, as she told Portia the very first season that they were on together, season 5. So now if Kenya just needs someone to lay it down, give her some affection, have her feel the comfort of, a warm body, do it. Do what you have to do, Kenya. I'm all on board. So then we see Sanya meeting with her mom, Sharon, as well as her sister. They were having a meeting about things that Sanya is working on. She did express to her mom and her sister that her husband, Ross, is ready for them to move out of their marital home. It's been a year, and the way that her mom, Sharon, responded was, well, I thought he said a year or 2. And Sanya said, yeah, that's what I thought, a year or 2. Well, I just want to remind you, ladies, that the word or, means that it could be either this or that, either just 1 year or maybe 2 years. So Ross gave himself the option by using the word or, which was very smart. It's one thing if the mom and the sister do not want to move, if they don't want the hassle of packing up their belongings and then having to pay rent elsewhere. But it's another thing when Ross's own wife, Sanya, doesn't understand that he wants his privacy. I mean, is it just Ross who wants to walk around naked? I'm sure it's not. I'm sure he would love to be able to just let it all hang out, but he can't when his mother-in-law and his sister-in-law live there, not to mention their husbands. It's just too much. So then we see Marlo getting ready for her Halloween photo shoot that she does with her nephews, which the photos that I remember from back in the day, like when she was like covered in Louis Vuitton, the logo, that was just her solo as a single woman. It did not include her nephews. But this year, she made it sound like it was like their annual family thing to do for Halloween. But I digress. So she is basically saying in this scene with her sister and Courtney that Kandi really did not show any empathy towards her when her nephew was taken out, unfortunately. And again, I give my condolences to Marlo and her family. And honestly, whenever you know that someone has lost a loved one, you wish that you could take the pain away, but you know that the pain will be there. You pray for them in private, ask God to heal them and help them to handle it. I've prayed and asked God to help people not to fight as they plan the funeral, and you do that sincerely and you give your condolences. What more could Kandi have done? What I do think that Marlo was looking for was for Kandi to volunteer to pay for the funeral, which she has absolutely no reason to do that. And then Marlo even said in her confessional that, Kandi always brings up my past, but she's done nothing to help me get my record expunged. Why would Kandi do that? She's not an attorney. She's not a judge. She's never worked in the legal industry. And she does not have any sort of program where she expunges people's criminal records. That was totally left field. And it just shows that Marlo, she still has the mindset where she thinks that she is below people. And it's to me, it was just like making excuses, and you feel like the world owes you something. Now, just so you know, Marlo, Judge Greg Mathis, he has a program where you could get your record expunged. I think that you should reach out to him. And of course, Courtney being thirsty and a hater of Kandi's. Courtney is like the president of the hater people, I swear. She was like, sounds like somebody needs to get some empathy. Shut up, Courtney. Nobody asked you. I hope this is a one and done season for you because you are quite annoying. And I think the reason why we did not recognize Bryce from Groove Theory is because you probably stress him out and annoy him so that he does not even look the same from how he looked in the 90s. Like, it's one thing to age, but it's a totally different thing when you don't even recognize the guy. So then we see Sheree meeting up with her OBGYN to talk about her fibroids. It looks like she was trying to decide on a procedure that would fit her lifestyle. We all know that Sheree adores working out. And she wanted a procedure that would allow her to have a shorter recovery time. There was like a couple of different options that her doctor presented to her. One where I think just like for a couple of weeks, she wouldn't be able to have sex or work out. And then there was another procedure where she would go like 6 weeks, and she wanted to go with the shorter one. I can always compliment Sheree on her amazing body. She takes great care of herself physically. When back in the day, like those early seasons of Roa, I didn't always think that she made the best financial decisions. I always felt like her building the mansion was just like a huge disaster because I felt like she didn't really have the capital to do so. And we saw that it took her several years to do that. But yeah, whatever. And then Sanya actually is speaking about her brother-in-law quitting working for her. And I don't know, is it just me or do y'all think that the brother-in-law, Sanya's sister's husband, does not want to work? I mean, I'm sure he's okay with living with Sanya and Ross, but like you have an easy job where you're your sister-in-law's assistant. I mean, it's not like you have to literally punch in anywhere. You don't have to work in corporate America where you're the only or one of the few blacks, and you don't have to listen to ignorant comments about 45 and who knows what else. So why would you quit this job? And so, honestly, y'all, this episode was boring because we did not see Kandi. Kandi was actually participating in the Ebony 100. That is an event that is tied to Ebony magazine. So, we did not see Kandi. And it was just blah. I do feel like because Marlo was meddling with Kenya, you did see it teed it up for drama in the fifth episode. But it's not anything to look forward to because I don't like how she was disturbing Kenya and baby Brooklyn. But let me get to it. Let me hit the brakes. So they're on a bus on their way to Birmingham, Alabama, and they were having girl talk, talking about basically salad tossing and things of that nature. And yeah, and then Kenya's pretty much put people that she was more cool with closer to her. And then she put like Courtney and Marlo further away. So she has Manetta sitting next to her and Sanya sitting across from her. So then we see the ladies get like a dance lesson once they arrive, and this guy is choreographing a routine for them. And then Kenya, her and Manetta are going to leave to say that the rest of the girls are in a dance competition. They have to get in they have to dance and compete with each other for the best room in the hotel. And then Kenya and Manetta, they were caught like doing selfies and posing. And then Kenya actually awarded the quote unquote best room to Sheree. But this was like a fun group episode. And then we see where they were all like having lunch. And I love Kenya's leggings, the purple, gray, and white. I thought that was so like soft, feminine, and it shows her curves. But anyway, in this scene, we do see where Marlo and Kenya they get into it over, I believe it was over Candy's, her discrepancy with Kandi and Drew. So yes, so Drew put Kenya on to the, breaking the fourth wall scene in the last episode where Marlo was cursing out Drew over the passing of her nephew. So we are seeing a second consecutive season where Marlo is using her nephews to have a storyline. Now it is the deceased nephew whom she has never spoken of before. We've never even heard her say a few years back when the nephew worked at OLG for a few months that, oh, Kandi, my nephew works at your restaurant. And if you watch Kandi's latest speak on it, she breaks it down that the nephew started working at OLG in November 2019. He only worked there for a few months, of course, because then Carnival 19 took place. Then in the summer, he worked briefly again once some of the restrictions were lifted and he could come back to the restaurant. And Candice was saying in her speak on it, I don't know all my employees. That's totally normal, Kandi. None of us can say we've had jobs where the absolute owner slash president slash CEO knows us personally. So I do not know what Marlo is trying to paint you out as, but that's totally fine, honey. It would be normal for his immediate supervisor, whom he reported to, that's who would have known Marlo's nephew. So then we see the ladies arrive to a fundraiser for the HBCU, the historically Black college or university. And, I was always told I went to a predominantly white university, a predominantly white institution, a PWI, Michigan State. But I was always told with the Black colleges, the biggest role of the president of that Black college is to fundraise. So that's so important. So when they went to this affair, Kenya did tell them that, this is a fundraiser. Please take it seriously. Please dress appropriately. She even made Manetta change. But when they got there, to me, it looked like a lounge. And there were like high tabletops that you could stand at. And then there was kind of like, it looked like a rooftop, and those had tables. And that's where they're going to go. But they were all clowning Kenya in their confessionals, saying, she really had us thinking that this was going to be super duper nice. And then we see the producer, if you read the caption, the producer says, they're mad because you're a distraction. So People who were heading the fundraiser told production that they wanted the ladies of Roa to leave because the guests weren't paying attention, I guess, to the people who were there for the fundraiser. They were paying attention to the cast of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But those were humans. I think that's quite natural. If I were there, I would have been like, oh, wow, that's the president of the college. Oh, yeah, that's the person who's over the finance committee. But look, that's Kenya Moore. That's Sheree. I would be into the cast from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I don't know what the people from the college were thinking. I don't know what they were expecting. But yeah, they told production that they wanted them to leave. And Kenya said in her confessional that she was pretty much embarrassed, but she should not feel embarrassed. I feel like the people from the college were being silly by asking them to leave. But you all let me know what you thought. So then this is the end of the episode where, they get back and Kenya went to bed with her baby, Brooklyn, and they were all discussing like, why did Kenya just go to bed? And she had us get so dressed up for that like pseudo fundraiser. And Marlo is kicking on Kenya's door, pretty much saying, come out to talk to us. Kenya gets mad and says, why are you kicking my door? I have my daughter in here. Kenya was absolutely right. Marlo crossed a boundary. She was being aggressive, trying to get a reaction out of Kenya. I just don't get Marlo's dark side where she loses self control and she almost does things that could warrant a physical reaction, a fight. Like, why? Why are you doing that? That's why people bring up your past, because you still move in a way as if the same Marlo, you have that same mindset as that girl 20 years ago who sliced that girl's face. But you all let me know what you thought about this episode. Like I said, it was relatively boring. I hope we see Kandi in the next episode. We do know that episode 5 is going to kick off with drama because Marlo kicked on Kenya's door and she's going to be totally tapped out. She's going to try and ask them to leave, which I don't blame her because she doesn't want that negative energy and she has to perform at the football game. But please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. I hope you have an amazing day and I will talk with y'all soon. Bye.